You know what, man? I was gonna bring this up because I have a
Uh-oh.
lot I want to talk to you about today, including what you're going through. I want to get to that later. I want to do a couple headlines with you first, and then if we have some time. So other people have said this about both you and I, or have said this to me about you, and maybe someone said it to you about me. But apparently, we both kind of like to geek out about aliens occasionally. Is
Yes.
that
Yes.
true about you? Okay, so
Oh,
it's true.
my channel is, I would say, one of the first channels, if not the first channel on the left, that started explicitly giving UFO content. And
Okay.
the argument, making the case, and being right the entire way through. Yes, I am that guy. Even on
Okay.
Radio Sputnik, same thing. Was first person to bring that on that channel and strongly defended the position, and not just defended the position, was right. Meaning people had to come on and be like, "Okay, yeah, man, I guess you were right." It's like, that's right, I was right, because I wouldn't necessarily take a position that I can't defend.
All right, all right. Well, so I wanna ask you about later. Let's not.
Yeah, right.
Let's not.
Okay,
But at the end, I wanna, because I mean, for me, I mean, I'm not in your league. Like I'm just, for me, it's just like a fun curiosity where like people have tweeted me stuff, and I'm like,
oh
oh, this
God.
is, and I entertain the theme that it's like there's no way we're alone. Like it's
However
just
weird you think it is, it gets weirder.
all right.
You realize there's some stuff that I don't even cover on my channel, even though it's perfectly true. Like Bob Bigelow. Bob Bigelow was the guy that was at the center of the UFO thing. He was the project guy. He was the place who won the contract from Harry Reid for the studying of the UFOs. Luis Elizondo had a small part of that for ATIP. But Bob Bigelow, that was the guy. He was the owner of the company. Bob Bigelow just had an interview, and he was talking about Skinwalker Ranch and how the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, found him, talked to him, and wanted to go to the ranch because he wanted to study how weird and fucked up shit was there. After the meeting with the DIA guy was slightly freaked out by something that he saw at the ranch and allowed the research to take place at that ranch. They were trying to decide whether the phenomena at that ranch had anything to do with UFOs, and this is what the government was studying. This shit was phenomenal. Like, when I'm telling you it's weird, it is so fucking bizarre. It is phenomenal, and all of it is true. All of it is true. It documented all of it. Even the Pentagon putting out the tapes. Even the Pentagon and elements of the military, because of their religious beliefs, didn't or trying to stop the information from coming out. They believe that Ephesians something, I forget the name of the thing. Luis Elizondo said this the other day. He said that basically you have elements of the military that want the information out. You have other elements of the military that are freaked out by it because they think they're demons, based on elements of the Bible that says something from the sky. Isn't that
wild? Come on. Really?
No shit. No, he's saying it. He's being very honest. He's being very serious. He said there are elements of the military that are uber religious and that are massively freaked out. It's not that they don't believe the phenomena, because they have voluminous evidence. The issue is that they wanted to come out. It's like if a bear comes after you and you put your head under the covers, the bear can't get you. It's that nonsense. That it's like, yeah, we can't bring this. We can't talk about this. This is too much. This is too scary. Let's leave it alone. These things are demons. Let's back up.
Demon. All right. Yeah. You'll have to. Yeah. So I'm not hip to very much of this. I mean, I'm like, I mean,
think about it for the moment. Do you think that all of the military people, the people in the military, the United States, as Christian as this country has been, that those people in the military are all atheists? And if they're not, and some of them are uber religious, what is their point of view?
So you think,
what frame do they look at this from?
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I guess I never really thought, I never thought about that. I mean, my take is just, there's definitely some stuff we don't know about that they're keeping from us for a reason. And I just think with how infinite the universe is, there's no way we're the only intelligent life. And I would like to, my personal belief, and again, I make it very clear, this is a belief because I can't prove this or disprove it as of now. My personal belief. Okay, but my belief, at least I think it's a belief, is that there's got to be something more advanced than us out there. Yeah, I mean, I think so. You don't think that's a belief?
No, I think it's a fact.
Okay, how so?
Well, I think it has to be a flat fact for one. I mean, unless you're going to invoke God, we're not alone, right? I mean, think of how big the universe is. Think of all the planets. We're expanding into fucking infinite space and whatnot. I mean, not even hitting the point of what we're expanding into. Just the fact that we're expanding in general, and you're talking about planets. We have more universes or more galaxies and grains of sand on every beach on this planet. And you're going to tell me that we're in a little sandbox. You realize life grows in volcanic pits.
I'm with you.
In volcanic pits. And we're saying that we're the only thing, as if God made a petri dish and made us, the only thing.
It's absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's insane. But I mean, I would say
that's not even the strongest part of my argument. The evidence, the evidence that you're seeing with these things coming out of the sky and whatnot, the pallets that are coming out saying, yes, I was watching that technological device and it blew past me. Yes, I was watching the device come out of the water and our pallets were chasing it. Pallets, detailed information coming from like signals research and whatnot. The Pentagon releasing those videos. The people, not just the videos, but the people who were in the planes talking. And look, it's not just the United States, by the way. Britain, France, they've released their files. And again, the people who are researching this stuff have come out and basically said, yes, we saw a lot of weird shit. We can't explain it. It looked like technology and it looked like devices that was going well beyond what we could do in this plane. That is the reason why the U.S. military or the Navy changed their policy on this. That is the reason why the United States Army is working with Two Stars Academy, which is a UFO organization. Literally,
that's,
UFO organization.
That's Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, right? Yeah.
Exactly. The military is working with him. Now,
have you ever talked to him?
I've never talked to Tom. I'd love to talk to DeLonge.
I'd be curious to talk to him. I mean,
I would love to talk to him. I think he's a spook. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. And I don't mean that even from the standpoint that I think he knows it. I think there's a lot of Tom DeLonge. So if you ever look at, I don't know if you've looked through the Hillary Clinton emails, the Podesta leaks.
I mean, it's been a while, but I mean, I have looked at them.
UFO stuff is all through the Podesta leaks. People thought Tom DeLonge was full of shit. It was like, who's this rock star? This fucking guy doesn't know anything about UFOs. Then the leaks come out. And Tom DeLonge is all through them. He's talking about UFOs. There are people saying, hey, we're going to meet you up together. Hillary Clinton wanted to be asked about UFOs when she was, I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel, and her staff was pushing them to ask. And then
really?
Hillary Clinton said, well, we call them UAPs. That's what we call them. That's what she said. And she says,
what does that stand for?
Unidentified aerial phenomena. It's
okay.
Just,
all right.
They wanted to change the perspective because UFOs was somewhat of a loaded word, so they wanted to transfer it onto UAP. That didn't have a meaning. It's a political thing. It's nonsense. Just theater. But that's what she wanted. She wanted to open the books. And so she wanted them to ask her about that stuff. Hillary Clinton getting caught with the UFO book. John Podesta had been trying to open the UFO books for years. He goes on the stand after, I think it was at the end of the Obama administration, and say, my greatest failure is not opening the UFO files and getting those files released. This is what was taking place. So when all of this stuff started taking place, they assumed that Hillary Clinton was going to be in office. When those leaks came out, the assumption was that Clinton was going to be in office and that Clinton would have had all of the political will, because all of the stuff was coming out, to open the books. That was what they hoped. Hillary Clinton lost that race. Trump ended up in office. The stuff came out anyway. There was no push from the president to do anything about it. Isn't that phenomenal? Think about what would have happened if Hillary Clinton would have won that race and all of that information would have came out. So now Joe Biden is in, and Joe Biden doesn't know shit about UFOs. And so all of this stuff is just kind of lingering with like all of these threads. The U.S. Navy has owned it. The political space has owned it because they're going to get briefings based upon the stuff that they were getting from Bob Bigelow and stuff like that, all of the research that had been going on. You have the situation where the Army is working with a UFO organization explicitly talking about materials that have yet to be disclosed and whether those can be used for military applications. I don't think our military would be getting involved with the UFO organization, or for that matter, pulling down signal data, or for that matter, Congress being willing to take information on it if it wasn't legit. It is legit at this point. And from this standpoint, for people who are saying it is not, they need to explain why all of these people all of a sudden on it. They need to explain all of the signals information. They have to explain all of the pallets, some of which were flying after 9/11 to keep this country safe. They need to say that all those guys are full of shit. They need to explain all of the pallets that was in the New York Times talking about, yes, we're seeing these things. These things were flying around us. They need to deal with the shit people who say, yes, it came out of the water and blew past us. They got to explain all that. And if they can explain all that, fair enough. My argument is that basically, look, it's either us or something else. It's either us and secret projects that we have in this kind of break off civilization of sorts.
Right.
Or it's not. And both of those things are fucking phenomenal.
But what do you think it is? I mean, because that's the common argument you hear. You hear that it's just them testing new technologies, them testing new objects, and that's all it is.
I think it's both.
You think it's both?
I think it's both. I do believe, more likely than not, that we have shit from UFOs. Bigelow, they asked him that very straight question. And again, Bigelow is the guy that was studying this stuff. Bigelow is the guy that had his hands on all of this stuff even further than the project at Luis Elizondo. And
So
they asked him last Friday, he just had an interview. And they asked him last Friday, did you see chips? Did you see hardware? He is clearly under some kind of secrecy. He's like, he's thinking about it, right? He's like, all right, I gotta answer this. And he basically says, yes, we have stuff. We have ships. We have stuff that we've pulled up. Now, he would not go that farther into that, further than, yes, we have materials.
So then it's still a belief though, because it's like here's the thing. It is a fact that there's definitely some life on other planets, like plant life and stuff like that. As far as intelligent life.
Wait. Have you seen plant life on other planets?
I haven't seen it. No. Have you?
How do you know on other planets?
Oh, come on.
Why?
Come on. I mean, come on. That's, I mean, I get where you're going. I get where you're going. That's fair. But I mean, and again, I have the same belief as you. I do think intelligent life is definitely out there because, I mean, I think the analogy you made, I think is great. You tell me that we're some petri dish. There's no freaking way.
God put a glass bars around us. Like, I mean, look, that would be mind blowing. That would be even more shocking than a UFO thing to me. I
agree. If we found out we were the only intelligent, I mean, that would be way more shocking. Then there's got to be something else intelligent out there because it's like, I mean, think of the probability of that. It's like we landed on the right grain of sand in a coastline. Like it's absolutely unbelievable, but there's still I mean, I still have to acknowledge that until there's indisputable evidence of that, it's still to an extent my personal belief.
What's indisputable evidence to you?
Seeing it, interacting with it.
For yourself?
I mean,
you have to be abducted first?
I mean,
no,
are you asking? Well, can I give you my wish and then the actual answer? I mean, ideally, yeah, I would see everything firsthand, dude. Ideally, I would just like meet whoever or whatever it is, and they would just lay it out for me.
Well, let me tell you one of my experiences. I hit this thing like when I was maybe a few years ago, and I was like uncomfortably interested in this. Like it was extreme. It was so bizarre. And I was freaking my wife out because to me, like anything else, like if I want to know, I'm kind of like you, I want to see it firsthand. And when I was younger, I used to have this weird phenomena, things coming into my room, sitting on my bed and stuff like that. As I got older, I got more into like new agey stuff. And I used to say, all right, if the spirit guides and stuff like that exist, I want to try to figure that shit out. And I used to do all of this meditation and everything else for the split purpose of contacting this kind of thing that Sylvia Brown was calling the spirit guide. That was me. I wanted to know. I didn't care whether or not people say, hey, that's stupid or whatever else. I don't give a shit about them. Is it true? Because I don't think that all of these people are just making shit up. And I kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt to determine in their own terms of whether or not it happened. That was weird. It took a while and freaked me the fuck out for a very long time until one morning I hear somebody beside my bed saying, hello. Now, the day after that or the night after that, I fall into an OBE or lucid experience where a woman addresses me. She said, I'm your expositor. And she continues to have a conversation with me, basically explaining all of these things that I cannot remember. I can't even remember a fucking name because I kept telling myself, expositor, remember that word. And I've seen her multiple times. And so the spirit got stuff to me. It was like, okay, maybe there's a there. Is it me or is it something outside of me? I have no idea. But what I do know is that I didn't know what the word expositor was before up to that moment. And, I can accept this notion that it is an aspect of me, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to determine what's you and what's outside of you at times.
Well, this was all in like some kind of a dream and whether it was more than that or an experience, it was lucid.
Yeah, but the dream started provoking weird stuff. Like stuff started happening even when I was wide awake. Like the lights started flashing and stuff like that. But at that point, that was me being really into trying to figure out what that was. That it bleeds off for a while. and I get heavy into the UFO thing. And I start asking myself, is this real? Like, is this BS? And you start freaking yourself out a little bit when you start going through the literature, because you have people like aliens are eating babies. Oh my God, that sounds fucked up. There's, bases underground where aliens are working with the government. And after a while, you say, okay, I think that shit is insane, even if it's true. I don't know. I don't want to go there. And so I started looking for things that, all right, what's more legit? And what are the defensible positions regarding the UFO experience? And so I started catering more to that. And I started even getting into some people who were into like CSETI or some of this other thing, Mission Rama, who would say, yeah, we contact aliens and we contact with them. Okay, fair enough. Do you do it for real? Now, South Africa, they use it there, but there's other groups. Mission Rama came to the United States and they went up to Mount Shasta, I believe. And the people who were on Mount Shasta, it freaked them out royally. Now, the reason, and I'll get to my point. The reason that it freaked them out, because they went up there, many of them were UFO people, and they were just researchers, investigators, never seen anything. And Rama basically said, look, there's going to be a sighting here, and we're going to bring something here. And you need to listen to us as we go about this. They say, okay. And they start seeing weird stuff in the forest. They start hearing weird shit in the forest. And what's her name? Paola Harris. Paola Harris says she was terrified. She said, like, she talks about like how she sees something. It looks like this big being. And he says something to her, but she's like shitting herself because she's so terrified at the moment. Now, I accept that response because she should be terrified in that moment. I expect the person to be terrified. And when people are full of shit and they're acting like, I said, hey, why did you pull me out of my car like that? Those people are full of shit. That response is normal to me. That response makes all the sense to me. When I was younger, after that, I started looking into the stuff myself, and I started saying, all right, how do you contact these guys? And basically, it was in very similar ways of contacting spirit guides. That was weird to me, but I started realizing that there's an overlap in the stuff that people talk about from a New Age stuff, from a UFO stuff, and there's some interaction between the two. This, to some degree, gets at why the DIA was looking at Skinwalker Ranch to figure out what the fuck was going on with aliens and see if those things were related, because oftentimes those things are intermingled. After doing a lot of meditation and everything else, like trying hard, and following basically what these guys were saying in regards to contact, again, holding them at their own level, weird stuff started happening. So one, craft. My wife was with me on both of these occasions. It was this thing that flew by us, and it looks like an egg-shaped thing. And I'm like, hey, did you see that? And she says, yeah. I was like, what the fuck was that? She says, I'm not sure. Now, both of us were standing there, right? So I was like, all right, you push that off. We're in Egypt. We're driving past the thing. I'm looking up the stairs. I'm looking at the stars. And one of the stars blow up to the size of like a sun. I hit my wife. Oh, my God, look at that. Look at that. She turns at the last moment as we're going downhill, and it goes, it's like, motherfucker. She's always there, but she's like never looking in the right moment to see shit like that. Now, the blow up thing is something that you can find online sometimes that happens where people will look at a star and the star blows up to the size of something when you think at it. The thing that freaked me out, though, all that stuff is perfectly fine. The thing that freaked me out, I am in my bed. I am asleep. My wife is with me to the side of me. I hear something upstairs. I get up. I go to the door and I'm frozen. I cannot move. And my wife says, are you okay? I said, I can't move. And I'm hearing something come down the stairs. I am terrified. I've never been this scared in my life. And I'm screaming in my head, no, as loud as I can. And I wake up so embarrassed. I felt like an asshole. Because basically, right, it's like at that point, I was like you. I want to see it. If there's a thing there, I want to see it. I want to know what it is. And in the moment where the opportunity potentially presents, even if it was purely subconscious and fucking with me, I freaked the fuck out. I didn't know I was in my subconscious at that particular moment. I thought that was just me. And I lost it. So everything stopped. All the weird phenomena, everything stopped for like a month or two. And then it happened again. I am laying in my bed. My wife is beside me. There's something upstairs. At this point, I cannot even get up. I am freaking out royally. And I hear my wife, as something comes downstairs, says, hey, don't stress it. You wanted this. You can't do anything about it anyway. Just calm down. Now, my wife would never say this to me. My wife wouldn't be the calm one in that moment. She would. I promise you, she would not be the calm one. I would be the calm one in that moment. But I was freaking out. But after she said, I was like, all right, she's right. Just keep your shit together. Keep your shit together. And I started talking to myself like I was when I was skydiving. Keep your shit together. Don't embarrass yourself. Just keep your shit together. I hear something come into the room. And my fear kind of gave way to curiosity. Like at that point, I was like, well, fuck, I want to see it. It's here. I want to see it. You know, I want, what's... And the paralysis let up. And the paralysis let up just enough for me to tilt my head over to see a black woman staring at me. And I say, bullshit. This is not real. Bullshit. Now, I hear the conversation going back and forth. Oh, he's curious. He wants to see. He's curious.
So, wait. Well, what conversation? Was the black woman talking to you at this point?
No, she wasn't talking to me. There was a conversation going on between whoever else was in the room. The only person I heard, the other ones I couldn't necessarily see. Look, this can be my subconscious fucking with me.
Sure, absolutely.
But it kind of really doesn't matter. In that moment, I didn't know. And in that moment, that's how I responded. I was freaked out. I was freaked out. And it took me a while to kind of talk myself down, and even get to the point of being able to look up and figure out who the fuck was around me. And I got to be honest, in that moment, I don't give a shit that I was scared. I wanted to know. Sure. I don't care. And that fear gave away very quick when it was, all right, it's here. Nobody's hitting me. I'm not being beat up. What the fuck is out there? You know what I mean? It is
no, dude, totally. And I think that, I think there are a lot of things that go on in our subconscious. There are a lot of things that have occurred that, yeah, we cannot explain, and we're constantly seeking truth.
Yes.
And, like just getting back to the main theme of this, I mean, to entertain the idea that we are alone in this infinite universe, not only is it absolutely like so incredibly unlikely, but holy shit, is that a boring thing to entertain?
It's just sad.
I mean, how freaking boring can you get? Now, I mean, and we can, have the philosophical discussions of like how much of this is our belief, how much of this can we say is pretty much down packed. And I think there's kind of some ambiguity there, like there really is. I mean, you bring up, it's like, well, yeah, plant life is a fact. Well, have I seen it? No, but on the same token, I mean, people use that to justify the existence of, like people use that to justify the existence of God, which that's another thing. I can't prove or disprove that. I can tell you all of the man-made gods. I don't believe in any of those. There's 3,000 of them. I don't believe in any of them. But as far as, is there something beyond us out there, that I can't prove or disprove yet, neither can anybody else. Yeah. So, but it's, do you think, well, like, so, to put a period on this, because there's a couple other topics I want to get to with you, but do you think we're going to know more, confidently know more in our lifetimes?
Yes. You already do.
I hope you're right.
You've had confirmation. This is what this is, confirmation. It's not disclosure. It's not, Joe Biden coming out with an alien saying, here's a vehicle, I'll see you bitches later. But it is, for all intents and purposes, confirmation. I mean, think about it, Ron. Your government is literally getting briefings on UFO information because they realize that the stuff is real. You have your military working with organizations that are specifically using and working with UFOs, to the Stars Academy, talking about they're going to build a spaceship. You have the Navy getting information. You have the Pentagon releasing multiple videos. Like, you have pilots who are out there talking to the audience, talking to the crowd. What else do you need? That's your reality at this point has basically accepted this is real.
I want more intelligent life to come down and be like, look, here's our rule. When you,
they would never do that. They would never do that. Why would
that's what I want. You said, what more do you need? That's what I need. I want them to come down and be like, listen, we never meet with anyone until they eradicate war. And we've been waiting on you motherfuckers for a long time. Everybody else figured it out except for you Earthlings. What the hell? So now we're interfering. This goes against the rules, but now we're interfering. Eradicate war, you idiots. And then they fix it for us. That's what I want.
I think that would break the rules. Because look, to me,
rules are meant to be broken.
If an alien craft lands on any part of this planet, all hell would break loose. All hell would break loose.
Agreed.
And by the way, how could, say for the moment, you had an intelligent species that was benevolent. Say they were benevolent. How could they ever even give us things for energy production. How could they ever even contact us in a way that wouldn't necessarily either have people screaming that the aliens are trying to kill us, they're trying to eat us for food, it's a cookbook, all of this type of stuff going on? How do you get that benevolent species? How does that benevolent species do anything to contact us in a way that doesn't provoke either chaos, confusion, or conspiracy theories,
that's a question you and I can't answer. Exactly. Because we as Earthlings cannot transcend language, but maybe there is a civilization that can. I'm not saying there, I don't know, but I'd like to think there is. We can't
language. Explain what you mean.
We cannot exchange. We cannot transcend language. We cannot transcend the use of symbols to communicate. We have not figured out how to transcend that yet. Can it be done? Maybe it can't, but I'd like to think that it can, and something more advanced has figured that out. In other words, if they ever did come to us, we would know that they were coming in peace. We would have people who claim to have experiences, that's actually not an uncommon thing that they report. They report feeling totally at ease. Right. They report feeling at peace. They report this feeling of euphoria that they couldn't explain. Maybe, just maybe, if everything they're saying is legit, this more advanced species has transcended a language that we have not been able to transcend yet. And that is how they would accomplish the question you just asked.
I do understand, but that doesn't really mean anything, if I'm being bluntly honest.
It means a lot.
When I met my guy, the spirit guy thing, it felt euphoric. I've never felt anything like it. It was this kind of weird merger between, the two things. I've never felt anything like it. Euphoric. Was it real? Real to me, I suppose. And yeah, I do think it's outside of self on that one. But if you have an experience with a particular being and that being makes you feel a particular way, it doesn't really mean anything. You just feel that way. Does it make sense? Like if I have some particular way of engaging with your consciousness, and within the context of me engaging with that, I can give you certain feelings for you to feel a particular way. And you come out that saying, wow, this felt like a religious experience. I felt really at ease and everything else. You're being manipulated, potentially. How do you know? This is not like, we can't function on this as if we function from each other, because it doesn't really apply. You're talking about something that is fundamentally different than us, and how they engage with us could potentially be manipulative. Now, it could be manipulative for good reasons. That's true. They could try to manipulate us because, hey, you guys are fuck ups. And we need you to not be fuck ups. So we need to manipulate you in a way because there's no way for us to engage you honestly in a way that doesn't cause confusion. Yes, that could be that. But how do we know? And that's the problem. We don't. And so I don't begrudge people who are more cynical of this stuff, even though they are problematic, because those are the people like they're eating babies and they're having genetic experiments and all this other stuff. Are they? Who knows? They could be. From their point of view, there may be nothing wrong with that at all. Again, this is what I mean. We're engaging something that is fundamentally different if we engage in anything at all. So I do feel you, though. People who do have alien experiences often do come back and say, look, they're concerned about this planet. They're concerned about these nuclear weapons. We're killing each other for no reason, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, basically, you guys are fucking up. Fix it. And so, yeah, that is often what the experience ends up being, especially for people who've had many. Like when they say they have many of the experiences, it comes back over and over and over again with that particular thing. But no, I feel you, man. But it's complicated. Like it's exopolitics, and human beings are fragile. We're frail in some respects, especially in our perception of the world. We can be kind, but Hillary Clinton of the world. Imagine somebody who can actually get in on regards. Obama was able to get hope and change, and how people, Jesse Jackson crying on the thing. What if you can just engage an individual in their psychology, or for that matter, their feelings in a way that elicits that stuff without it necessarily being legit or honest? We're dealing with different things, and those things may actually be able to engage with consciousness in a way that we are not familiar with. No, it's a big deal, and it's weird, it's strange, it's interesting. There's all sorts of philosophical things that come up. There's all sorts of things in regards to how do you trust other species if we can't even trust ourselves. Yeah, it's a fascinating topic. I'm sorry. They say I'm on your.
We covered it.
Right.
People wanted alien talk. They just got it. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want
it together and make it our own. Get your